air. Gold bells shining, they all dare. Tougher, fists held high. Warriors fight till the night says die. FWE, where battles define. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE. FWE, where battles define. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE. Oh, FWE, FWE. Oh, FWE, FWE. Where battles define. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's episode of FWE Extras. We draw closer to the PLE, known as Guardians of the Ring. I'm Seth Cole, alongside of Jack Mitchell. And Jack, getting ready here tonight to continue on the road for both the men's and the women's side of the Guardian of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, we are, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'll let Mike Rome do this introduction here, and then I'll let you know how I'm feeling.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall. On the way to the ring, the Queen.
I've had a few days to sit on how that last men's qualifier ended, and I'm not too pleased with myself. I was an inch away from breaking up that winning pinfall, and I got to tell you what, I'm not too pleased with my results lately. I feel like I've been coming up short a lot lately, and I got to do something. I need to have a title around my waist again.
The big Rapunzel, one half of the Disney Queens, feels the same way, was unsuccessful in her fatal four-way matchup this past Thursday night, but along with her teammate Belle, an opportunity to take a step closer towards number one contendership to get back those women's Disney tag team titles, as they're going to be getting ready to take on another former tag team champion duo here tonight. Should be a good hard-hitting matchup here, as we're also pleased to welcome back here. We had him this past Thursday night. He joins us here this evening as well, Robbie Gilman. Rob, you got a fatal four-way coming up here tonight as well, a qualifier for Guardians of the Ring, but I have to say, you look a little different from when we last saw you.
Yeah, that fat bastard Ernie the Keebler Elf put some in my shampoo bottle. I'd go into the shower with dark hair like normal. I come out, suddenly my hair looks like Shaggy. I have this dirty blonde ass hair. I don't know what the hell happened. I'm still going to eat his fudge stripe, so I'm not too pleased with Ernie as I sit here right now.
So Ernie's messing with you too, is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah. I'll put something in his fudge stripes if he keeps that shit up.
Ernie causing some mayhem here. He's took a lot of people off, it seems like, here in FWE. Jack, you've had your run-ins with him, obviously. We know how Matt McIntyre feels about him.
And now he's causing mischief backstage. I think I do need to issue a quick correction, by the way, Seth, because you said that Rapunzel did not advance. She was declared the winner of that matchup.
Oh, no, you are correct.
I think you must have meant Shigo when she was unsuccessful, even though she had a pinfall at the same time. I think you're going to hear something about that tonight, actually, as well.
We are indeed. As a matter of fact, our Commissioner Woody trying to make things right after what took place this past Thursday night. Both Rapunzel and Shigo had pins covers on their respective opponents, just like Belle does here on Gamora after a series of massive uppercuts. Kicked out at 1. Referee Ernest Wright counted the 3 for Rapunzel, but not for Shigo. Rapunzel's hand was raised in victory. FWE Commissioner Woody has announced that as recompense, Shigo will be allowed to fight for a women's mid-card title at the upcoming Guardians of the Ring PLE, but she has to announce what title that will be before the end of the night, as cover in here by Belle after the leg drop on Gamora and a kick out at 2. So that kind of leaves the window open in a couple of regards. Obviously, the Female Fighting Championship, the Women's Hardcore title, the Coast to Coast Cruiserweight Championship, they would all fall under that category.
Yeah, everybody's definitely got to keep their eyes open now, as that's going to put the mid-card title holders on notice. Punching on the arm of Gamora is Bell. Again, this matchup as we're working our way closer to determining new #1 contenders for the women's tag team championships. There are countouts, there are DQs, so these guys are going to have to work their way back into the ring eventually.
Just
They do.
A week ago on the last episode of FWE Extra, we ended up seeing the duo of Katniss Everdeen and Ellie. Looks like Catching Fireflies is back on the same page. They were able to defeat Mystery Incorporated, so they currently are now awaiting the winners of this matchup to find out who they will fight for that #1 contendership. Of course, Team Let It Go going to have a vested interest in this matchup, as well as they will be defending those tag team titles at the Saturday nights in Springfield PLE.
Not very often you get a PLE to be the go-home show for another PLE, but that's what
Right.
we got going on here.
Here's Rapunzel with a deal on the top rope there.
Saturday night Springfield going to be a week from tonight, Saturday, April the 11th. It's covered here by Bell on Gamora, looking once again for the Disney Queens to advance and a kick out at 1. The Guardians of the Ring PLE will follow that on Thursday night, April the 16th.
Gamora caught the leg of Bell there. You'd have to feel like the Daughters of Thanos, if anybody, would want to be at that Guardians of the Ring PLE. Superman punch.
Home field advantage for sure. Cover here by Gamora after that Superman punch, and Bell's gonna power out at 2. Mentioned both of these duos have been to the top of the mountain. Both have held the women's tag team championships, and right now Team Let It Go is the only duo that has held those belts more than once. If either one of these two teams can get to the Saturday night in Springfield PLE, win the titles away from Team Let It Go, they would become the second team to be multi-time tag team champions.
I'm going to be honest, though. I feel like there's not a lot of women's tag teams in the back that want the Disney Queens to have the gold around their waist again, because you remember how many teams were locked out of competing for those tag team titles while the Disney Queens held championship gold.
That's a great point. Flatliner there by Rapunzel on Nebula. Nebula,
Look out.
former female fighting champion as well, as the cover is in here by Rapunzel, and Gamora gonna break that up. Speaking of the female fighting championship, that currently around the waist of another member of the Disney Queens, the former Women's Universal Champion Mulan, as Rapunzel with the cover here on Nebula, but referee Ernest Wright had to kind of make his way around Bell, who needs to get out of the ring.
She's going to get counted out. She's not careful. There she goes.
Springboard forearm by Nebula, but mentioning about Mulan, we ended up seeing her end up winning the female fighting championship in a knockout match. She puts the title on the line here tonight in the same type of stipulation, open challenge. We'll have to see who it is that's going to answer that call.
That'll be a very interesting one, but look out
Whoa.
here. Oh!
Big duck by Rapunzel. That spinning back fist could have been it.
And Rapunzel hits the standing Spanish fly, and now what's she thinking about here? Be going for a tag? Intercepted, though.
Nebula with a cheap shot to Bell, a second one, trying to take Bell off the apron, not allow Rapunzel, a teammate, to tag in.
And tag her sister in instead. Gamora went for some kind of arm attack there, didn't connect.
Might have been a springboard clothesline, but Rapunzel able to duck that. Now stuns Gamora with drop kick. Oh, now Rapunzel might be setting up here, going up to the top, springboard into the arm drag, flings Gamora halfway across the ring.
Tag is made.
Oh, now setting up that arm for the disarmer submission. Oh, and then Nebula with a drop kick to the back of the head to break it up. Again, working on that left arm, though.
Now going to go for the cover.
Cover here by Bell for the Disney Queens to advance, and they will. So it's official. Next week, Disney Queens versus Catching Fireflies.
Wrenching on that arm was all it took. I mean, that's definitely not something that Gamora's going to want to remember. Just like that, as you said, Disney Queens could be taking on Catching Fireflies, and the winners become the #1 contenders for the Women's Disney Tag Team Championships.
Up next, it's the third of our Fatal 4-Way qualifiers for the Men's Guardians of the Ring tournament, and it's up next.
Raise your hands, let the fire ignite. Bound by fate, we'll win this fight. Through the storm, hear the echoes cling. Side by side, we're the Guardians of the Ring.
The following is a fatal 4-way match. Making his way to the ring from out of this world, weighing in at 343 pounds,
Getting ready for our third Fatal 4-Way qualifier here in the Men's Guardians of the Ring tournament. The Titan Thanos slowly makes his way to ringside here. Interesting scenario, Jack, because Thanos was actually part of that winning team when we had the 8-man tag team matchup in the show just immediately following Power Up when we were setting up the tournament bracket. The individual that he teamed up with that got the winning pinfall was Anthony McCurry, who has advanced already in his Fatal 4. We could end up seeing two guys who were allies of convenience end up going up against each other in the semifinals if Thanos wins tonight.
We very well could. And I mean, obviously, you know, when that matchup happened, I said it multiple times during those LCQ Fatal 4-on-4 tag team matches, I should say, that, you know, at the end of the day, business comes first. Everyone in that match had the same goal in mind. You had to kind of put your ego in check for the moment. So we'll see what Thanos can do now that he no longer has to keep that ego in check. And we know he's got one too, let's be perfectly honest.
Fatal 4-Way rules, do you think that makes him more of a target or more of a threat?
Probably both. I'm sure he enjoys the challenge though.
and his opponents. First, representing the corporation from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing in at 126 pounds, Shaggy Rogers.
Shaggy, a former Tri-Wizard champion in his own right, getting ready to enter into this matchup. I can only imagine, obviously you've been in this situation, but we know Shaggy isn't the bravest of souls. I can only imagine coming out here and having to now face off against Thanos as an enemy. We talked about the mentality of having to team up with him back a few weeks ago. And now Thanos no longer is a teammate, and I don't know how often we're gonna see Shaggy in the same vicinity as Thanos in this matchup.
Yeah, this might be the only time is right here before the matchup starts. I mean, who knows? He could surprise us.
Could very well. Shaggy ended up winning the Tri-Wizard Championship back at the Fantasia PLE. It was a ladder match at the time. Lost it the following week to Dylan Young, trying to get himself back up to the top of the mountain for that belt.
And from Louisville, Kentucky, weighing in at 290 pounds,
And we talked about this when we came on the air. Obviously, the dimming lights not allowing you to quite see what we were talking about, but you're gonna see here in just a moment. Apparently, Ernie the Keebler Elf is up to his old antics backstage, and he's targeted the former Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, you can kind of tell there's the hair is a little bit lighter than we're used to. Not the greatest start to the day for Robbie, obviously. You know, you want to come into a matchup like this at 100% mentally as well as physically. So that definitely not a good sign that Ernie's already kind of targeting Robbie with that prank there. You can see it on full display right here.
From Abruzzo, Italy,
Minus the beard's almost a Shaggy clone.
28 pounds, the
You want to talk about a dark horse in this tournament? How about the guy that nabbed the very last spot in the tournament? The showing that Ezio had in that last chance qualifier Royal Rumble match was maybe career-making for the Assassin.
Absolutely. It was elimination after elimination after elimination. I don't even remember how many he got. I lost count, but as soon as he stepped into the ring, he put everybody on notice. And I think that definitely makes you a dark horse in a tournament like this. When you're the last person to qualify in, but you do so like that, incredible stuff.
Makes you unpredictable for sure, but he's going to have quite a task in front of him here. The Titan Thanos, a former Triwizard champion, and Shaggy, a former Intercontinental champion, and Robbie Gilvin. And Ezio, one of these four, will be moving on to face Anthony McCrory in the semifinals.
Maybe it's a good thing that Ernie pulled a prank on Robbie, because Robbie can just use that anger to his advantage.
Yeah.
Use it to fuel him in this matchup.
Could also be a disadvantage, though, too. If somebody's targeting Shaggy, they may get him by mistake.
I don't think there's that many differences between the two.
Running power slam there by Thanos on Robbie. Neckbreaker by Ezio to Thanos. You mentioned about those numerous eliminations that Ezio was able to get, and he was able to take out some rather big individuals during that run, so you see him taking it immediately here to Thanos. The only problem here in this matchup is it's not throw him over the top rope into the floor. You gotta get a pinfall or submission on him.
But throwing somebody over the top rope and into the floor does help. As you see Robbie going for a pin and Ezio will break that up. It will help, because if you can get more bodies out of the ring, it'll make your job easier.
Ezio with the head scissors takedown on Robbie, and he'll get a 1 count. Shaggy showing some courage with a drop kick to the side of the head of Thanos.
Big drop kick there by Ezio, and now Robbie gonna get a hold of him.
Of this matchup will take out Anthony McCrory. We already know on the other side of the bracket, Flynn Rider has moved on. His opponent will be determined this coming Thursday night in the go-home show of FWE. And then the respective semifinals, they will be at the Saturday night at Springfield PLE, setting us up for our finals. That's on both the men's and the women's side, as we're going to have another women's Guardians of the Ring qualifying matchup later on tonight as well.
Oh, Robbie dropped onto that steel chair. There you see Shaggy. We talked about it before the match. He's going to take it to Thanos here, or at least he's going to try.
Mentioned he ended up winning the Triwizard Championship in a ladder match. That was with 6 participants in the ring, including himself, so he's well averse to multi-man matches. We'll have to see if that helps him out in this fatal 4-way, as covered here on Thanos, and Ezio going to be there to break it up.
Ezio ever slightly delayed because he had to drop that kendo stick before breaking it up, but he will do so.
Wow, nice reversal there by Shaggy. I think Ezio was going for a float over Celine Del Sol, and Shaggy reversed it into a power slam.
He then went for a cover on Thanos, but Robbie was right there to break it up.
Question is, how many percentage of his power did Shaggy use for that move?
Hopefully not too much.
Covered by Ezio, and Robbie Gilvin going to be there to stop him. You certainly got to think that, oh, it's Robbie after the super kick. Cover here, and Shaggy's going to break it up, and you got to think that, obviously, first things first here for Robbie Gilvin, would love to win this matchup to advance to the semifinals, but you got to think in the back of his mind, or more so on the top of his head, not going to forget the antics of Ernie, and may end up seeing some fallout from that in the upcoming weeks.
Ernie definitely has not made himself very many friends here at FWE. I'm not sure why Robbie's not trying to lay in some more offense on the Ezio.
Yeah, taking his time here, not only wasting time for Ezio to regain a little bit of wherewithal, but as well not capitalizing on the fact that Shaggy and Thanos are tied up on the outside. Wait a minute.
Tuning up the band. Looking for that sweet chin music. Oh, we got grabbed.
Sidestep there did Ezio as Shaggy on the outside with a float over takes down Thanos.
Ezio just barely managed to get a hand or two on his leg and step out of the way. Now gonna drop him to the ground. Oh, and he immediately gets knocked onto his seat by Shaggy.
Uh-oh.
What's he setting up for here?
What is Shaggy looking for here? Oh!
Oh! Is that a Claymore drop kick of some sort?
Some kind of, yeah, I think it might have been an attempted at a Claymore, and don't think it necessarily hit its mark because it simply had no effect on Ezio. It may have actually hit Thanos as well.
Robbie's going into the cover here. It'll be broken up though.
Ezio off the top rope. Scores the splash on the lower back of Robbie Gilvin. Nice deep arm drag inside of the ring. Meanwhile, on the outside, Shaggy trying to keep Thanos down with the kendo stick.
Still hanging on to that kendo stick. I feel like whoever is... Oh, hang on a minute. He had to drop it to break up that pin. I was going to say whoever came out on the victorious end of that exchange would have to meet a kendo stick as Ezio's face meets the ring mat. Now you're going to go for it here.
Going for it again, whatever it is. Oh, spear! Cuts Robbie Gilvin in half. Now Ezio with a cover here on Shaggy. And Shaggy with a kick out.
Kick out before one. That shows you how much strength he's got left still.
Spinning DDT here by Shaggy. Cover on Robbie Gilvin. Thanos stunned in the corner, and the cover is going to be Shaggy moving on.
Here is your winner, Shaggy Rogers.
Honestly, what a performance from Shaggy. I did not have that one on my bingo card. He showed out in this one, so full credit where it's due.
Slipped in at the last minute, intercepted whatever Robbie Gilvin had in store for Thanos. The DDT enough, and we now know that Shaggy Rogers and Anthony McCurry, they will fight at Saturday night at Springfield for a chance to move to the finals at the Guardians of the Ring PLE.
We are getting closer and closer. Only one more Fatal 4-Way to go. But coming up next, we've got an open challenge from Mulan, a knockout match for the Female Fighting Championship.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Female Fighting Championship.
As you heard, Mike Rome announce Female Fighting Championship on the line, and knew it was an open challenge. Okay, so this is why I was kind of wondering, because remember, I mentioned earlier on tonight, Shigo had to announce who she was going to fight for a mid-card title before the end of the evening. Now, the ramifications of that was she was going to fight for it at the Guardians of the Ring PLE. When I heard that music, it obviously was Toxic Attraction, but I didn't know if that was Shigo or not. Obviously, we now know Kim Possible is answering this open challenge tonight.
That would have made things very interesting. I mean, technically, Shigo would be allowed to answer an open challenge. There's no rule that says she can't. That's open to everybody.
Think about this situation. If Kim Possible's able to win tonight, get the Female Fighting Championship for the first time in her career, we could end up having teammates. We could have Toxic Attraction versus Toxic Attraction at the Guardians of the Ring PLE if Shigo decides to go for the Female Fighting Championship.
All the scenarios here are just crazy.
Former Women's Universal Champion, ended up winning that title at the biggest stage of them all at Paramount, now has the Hero of China Female Fighting Championship around her waist, which she ended up winning from Esmeralda in a matchup that, let's be honest, kind of really plays to Mulan's strength. A knockout matchup. MMA style, it's basically a referee's discretion on whether an individual is knocked out and cannot continue the matchup. Ended up being successful to win the title. Now gonna revisit the same type of stipulation here tonight in the hopes of retaining the Female Fighting Championship.
Could be a very brutal matchup, but I feel like both of the competitors are up to it. Obviously, with it being a knockout match, you're going to see a whole lot of brutality here. Weapons, they're going to be used. Not going to see any countouts, no DQ.
Well, with winning that Female Fighting Championship, Mulan joins Wonder Woman and Elizabeth Swan as women who have held both the Women's Universal Championship and a mid-card title in their career. Let's go down for announcements and
Introducing
Mike Rowe.
the challenger from the internet, Kimberly. And her opponent from the People's Republic of China, the female fighting champion, the Asian Nightmare.
Kim Possible, a former female tag team champion, looking for her first piece of singles gold here tonight, ready to take on member of the Disney Queens in Mulan, as we welcome Robbie Gilman back here to the announce table. And Robbie, obviously, unfortunately, you didn't advance in your fatal four-way matchup, but maybe that kind of gives you a little bit clearer sight here as you try and get some, enact some revenge maybe on Ernie.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I think Shaggy was just jealous I looked better with blonde hair. I mean, I feel like this whole deal's going to be a championship of the underdog this season. Because Shaggy came out of completely nowhere and bested the other three of us. But no, I figure, might slip a little something in Ernie's fudge stripes. Do God knows what, but Ernie's got something coming. Moving on.
Yeah, I was going to say, that'll definitely be something to keep an eye on here in the future, but Female Fighting Championship on the line again. Here we go.
Wearing in the 10 beats of the battering him by Kim Possible. And again, remember, as we've kind of seen going back to the matchup between Mulan and Esmeralda, you spend a great portion of this matchup just trying to wear the opponent down to be able to hit that one knockout shot.
Means you have to capitalize on it when you're given the moment. You can't slow down.
And I've just been handed a note here, kind of an interesting statistic. Shout out to our stats department here at FWE. If we look now at the three individuals who have advanced in the Men's Guardians of the Ring tournament, Anthony McCrory, Flynn Rider, and now most recently Shaggy Rogers, all three of those men were teammates on the winning team in that 4-on-4 tag team matchup.
Oh, look out here.
Flying forearm. And just the gravity behind that drop as well, adding to the impact of the floor.
Yeah, back to the stat there. I'd say, what are the odds that 3 of the 4 teammates end up going on the bracket against each other?
Yeah, we know it won't be 4 for 4. Thanos was also a part of that winning team, but he was also on the losing side of this most recent fatal four-way. We'll wait to see who the 4th and final participant will be in the tournament. That'll be taking place this Thursday night in the go-home show of FWE. Raphael, Maui, Aladdin, and Mr. Incredible going to be taking part in that. You notice the referee not administering any type of 10 count here. In a knockout type rules matchup, there are no countouts or disqualifications, so even the weaponry here on the outside of the ring can be used to knock your opponent out.
You can do whatever you want here in a knockout match. As soon as somebody goes down and doesn't get back up, that's the end of it. Oh.
Impossible driven ribs first into the steel steps, and you know, you kind of consider, you got to admire the guts of Kim Possible answering this open challenge, but what about momentum, Jack? Because let's go back to that night when we had the qualifying matchups. Kim Possible ended up taking the pinfall for her team in the women's 4-on-4 tag team matchup, and didn't have the best of showings in the LCQ Royal Rumble match either.
No, she didn't. So definitely, I feel like she maybe feels like this open challenge tonight is an opportunity for her to regain some of that momentum. But at the same time, they're coming off of 2 very poor results, so maybe a little bit of desperation coming into this as well. Or Kim Possible must feel like she has no other opportunity right now.
Look at Milan just going to town on the head of Kim Possible, stomping on her midsection. And look at this.
This is the springboard moonsault does Mulan. That opens up the window for Kim Possible to take advantage. And you saw her reining in those right hands. Any one of those could have been a knockout blow. Oh, we're going back to it.
Say it.
Now it might be the most overused move in fantasy wrestling entertainment.
Dropped, and again, to your point from earlier, any of those 10 beats right there could have been the end of the match.
Oh, gracious.
Ooh.
Short lariat clothesline.
Not the greatest landing there for Kim Possible. That taking place at ringside. There's only concrete underneath that minimal padding. Oh, gosh.
Snap suplex on the outside. Guarantee you a landing on the floor feels twice as bad as a landing on the canvas on the inside of the ring. Possible back in control here though. Drives Mulan into the corner.
More shots there. Drive her.
Oh, reversed.
Taking turns putting each other's heads into that top turnbuckle pad.
On with those karate type kicks. And oh!
Oh, gosh.
Uppercut knocks Kim Possible off the top rope into the outside, and now Mulan setting her up. This is how she won the title with a reverse GTS.
Put it away.
And referee's calling for the bell. Kim Possible is knocked out and Mulan retains.
Here is your winner, and still female fighting champion,
Well, you look at what Mulan's been able to do in this type of a stipulation match, she may be holding this title for a long time if it continues to trend this way.
That was a decisive victory for her, but you have to wonder about how Kim Possible is feeling. Momentum is definitely not on her side. We've got another Guardians of the Ring Fatal 4-Way coming up next.
Raise your hands, let the fire ignite. Bound by fate, we'll win this fight. Through the storm, hear the echoes cling. Side by side, we're the Guardians of the Ring.
It's a fatal 4-way match. Making her way to the ring, representing the tough guys from the internet, the Women's Universal Champion, Helen Parker.
Well, maybe the biggest X factor in this Women's Guardians of the Ring tournament, because The ramifications of if you end up winning the tournament, you have a guaranteed shot for the Women's Universal Championship in Combat Evolved. However, the Women's Universal Champion, Elastigirl, inserted herself in that 8-woman tag team matchup about a week and a half ago. Her team won, and now she's in the tournament as the title holder.
Yeah, we've discussed it a few different times as to what would happen if she was ultimately able to win the tournament. Because again, you win this tournament, you're guaranteed a title match at Combat Evolved for that title that she's currently holding right now. So I think we've come to the conclusion maybe she gets to choose her opponent, but we're still not totally 100% certain.
Jasmine, I feel like a broken record, but we go back to her ability to be able to qualify her way into the power-up ladder match. I asked you that night, was it a must-win? You said yes, she was unsuccessful. Now has herself in the tournament here tonight. Just how many more chances is Jasmine going to have? She's the only member of the faction who has not brought any type of gold into the Disney Queens. Heck, one of the women right now of that faction is holding a championship belt, and then 2 of them are trying to get themselves back into number 1 contendership.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I feel like this has to be Jasmine's last chance. I can't really think of many other opportunities down the road for her.
Talked about a couple of dark horses over on the men's side. I feel Evil Queen could be a dark horse here on the women's side. Was involved in that 4-on-4 tag team matchup. Was on the winning side as well. As a matter of fact, Elastigirl, who she'll be locking up with in this fatal 4-way, the 2 of them were teammates and were able to advance their way in.
Queen is another one of those competitors I think about as having not really made that much career success for herself so far in WWE. Winning this tournament can be a huge stepping stone for her. It's to say that you were the first winner of the female Guardian of the Ring tournament, but then you also have that guaranteed Universal Championship match.
Also going to break the 4th wall here. Of course, Guardians of the Ring fashioned after the other promotions, King and Queen of the Ring. Well, she already calls herself a queen, so might think by rights that she should win this tournament.
Maybe a second crown to wear, if you will.
And representing Havoc from parts unknown, Ivy!
Let's go back to the power-up PLE. Poison Ivy walked in as the Women's Universal Champion. She got to call her shot, picked her opponent. She chose Elastigirl. By the end of the night, Elastigirl was walking out with the Women's Universal Championship belt. Poison Ivy then inserted herself into the LCQ Royal Rumble a week and a half ago, won the thing, and now is involved in the same fatal 4-way as the woman that took the title from her at the last PLE.
Something else, this whole entire thing, honestly, it's making me realize that if anyone is able to pin Elastigirl in this matchup, does that give them a potential right to be a number 1 contender for the Women's Universal Championship in the future?
Well, one would certainly have to wonder, does Poison Ivy have a title rematch upcoming here as well at some point against Elastigirl?
I mean, there's still a long way to go before we get to Combat Evolved. There's the Guardians of the Ring PLE, there's Saturday Night Springfield the week before that. There's the Bash at Tatooine PLE as well. So there's a long way to go between now and then. It's not guaranteed that Elastigirl is going to hold the Universal title before we get to the title defense at Combat Evolved.
There's so many question marks. Of course, you've got the question mark of Moana backstage with that Money in the Bank briefcase. Of course, we're going to see her in action later on tonight as she's going to be going one-on-one with the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Champion. And then just to add a little bit more fuel to the fire in terms of question marks, what the heck is going on with these vignettes? We keep seeing these countdowns. Obviously, we know we're counting down to Guardians of the Ring, but what is the meaning behind them?
We've been told nothing by anybody. I have to feel like if these are being approved to air, I feel like that means our Commissioner Woody has something huge planned, because I can't think of anything right now.
Normally, he ends up telling us stuff before we come onto the air and stuff that, you know, has bearing on the evening, but he's been very tight-lipped about whatever this countdown is, as all 4 women going at it here. Evil Queen gonna take a little bit of time here on the outside and observe. That's actually quite smart. You're aware of what's going on inside of the ring, but you're not letting yourself get worn down either.
Yeah, this is a great strategy from the Evil Queen right now. Just take your time. Exercise patience. Don't worry about anything.
How about this? A little throwback to the power of PLE. Oh, Jasmine just said, you're not staying outside the ring without getting involved here, Evil Queen.
She was maybe a little too laser focused on what was going on inside the ring. Trying to search for her own weapon. And she's got a steel chair.
Oh!
Right in the head.
Elastigirl down, and you see how Poison Ivy took advantage, fell into the cover after Elastigirl got plastered with the chair. Whoa! Spinning heel kick. I believe that's how she ended up winning the title from Poison Ivy. The cover is in, and this time there's a third individual to break it up.
Evil Queen right there to break that up. I mean, she's trying to stay as aware as she possibly can. She'll drop Elastigirl with that huge clothesline.
Nice takedown by the Hurricane Rana via Jasmine. Whoa!
Oh!
Poison Ivy had thoughts with that chair, and I think it might have been the kick from Elastigirl that knocked it out of her hands. Poison Ivy into the cover on Jasmine. Elastigirl will break it up.
Everybody's a little too jumpy in this matchup, I feel like, right now. They're going into the covers a little bit quick as Poison Ivy caught that move from the Evil Queen. Now she'll eat a Hurricane Rana as there's a big kick.
Big opportunity for Elastigirl. She's able to advance in this tournament, as we said, to kind of maybe control her own fate when we get to the Combat Evolved PLE. It's covered here by Evil Queen off the flatliner on Poison Ivy.
Oh.
And Ivy will power out at 2. You know, a lot of people as well maybe wondering as, hold on, super kick here by Evil Queen, looking to advance in the tournament with a cover on Jasmine, and Elastigirl will break it up barely before the referee's hand comes down for 3, but a lot of people may be wondering if Elastigirl's victory was a bit of a fluke. Able to turn away those naysayers if she's able to be successful here tonight. Of course, we've already talked about, you know, the kind of the must-win that it's been here for Jasmine the last couple of months.
Big knee right there.
Winner of this matchup will go on to face Elizabeth Swan in the semifinals. A few of these women actually have some history with the former Women's Universal Champion, Poison Ivy. She's had a couple of run-ins with Elizabeth Swan, was the first woman to ever kick out of Elizabeth Swan's finishing maneuver, the Pirate's Plunge. Elastigirl ended up answering an open challenge at one time for the Women's Universal Championship when Elizabeth Swan held the title. And Jasmine and Elizabeth Swan, they faced off against each other before for the Women's Hardcore title.
I mean, we've been going on for long enough now to the point where there's going to be a lot of history between a lot of these competitors. And people, there's some competitors out there that don't forget as there was a
Rose play it by Jasmine, this could be it! Cover is in on Evil Queen to advance in the tournament. Oh, and Evil Queen got the shoulder up.
I don't know how she got up. Jasmine doesn't know how she got up. And they were distracted ringside too, so there was no way anybody was going to be able to break that up.
Jasmine going up top. Evil Queen stirring back to her feet. Hurricane Rana from the top into the roll-up, shoulders down, but Poison Ivy back into the ring.
You could feel the desperation on Jasmine right now. She's going for move after move, trying to put this one away. She thought that she had it.
Keeping her foot on the gas pedal here. Takes down Poison Ivy. Stomp to the arm. Now Elastigirl tied up with Evil Queen. All 4 women back inside of the ring once again. Short compact DDT.
This is smart by Jasmine, too. She's taking her time. She knows you can't go right into the pinfall or submission when there's other stuff going on inside the ring. Somebody else can realize what's going on and break it up.
Remember, Jasmine ended up advancing to the power-up ladder match, being the winner of a six-pack elimination style matchup.
She certainly knows a thing or two about these matchups, but she could also tell you a thing or two about the size of Poison Ivy's boot there.
Evil Queen. Oh, boot right to the side of the face of Jasmine. And now German suplex to Poison Ivy. Gonna follow it up with a wicked clothesline.
Facebuster there, though.
Now Elastigirl, the current Women's Universal Champion, the only one standing now, reigning in the right hands against the woman she won the title from back at Power Up.
Oh! Little move there by
move after move on the outside.
Jasmine again. Just she feels the desperation right now. She's slowing down here for a moment. Everybody just kind of staring each other down right now, waiting on the right opportunity.
And all this action on the outside. You can wear your opponent down, but the pinfall submission have to take place inside of the ring as Evil Queen went for a spinning reverse heel kick there.
Been a little bit before Elastigirl moved. That hit connects.
Definitely did. Oh, and now Evil Queen's got Jasmine up and down, reverse GTS. Now she gets delivered into the ring post. And we're back to these two.
Poison Ivy gets delivered into the barricade. Shots by Elastigirl to the Evil Queen. Jasmine slowly working her way back up to her feet.
Hurricane Rana takedown there by Jasmine on Evil Queen.
Again, this is just to wear everybody down. There are no pinfalls or submissions that are going to count ringside. You can put somebody into a submission hold ringside as well. It's not going to win the match, but it's going to really wear somebody down.
Oh! DDT. Cranium right into that very thin carpeting we've got here, this padding, concrete floor underneath, and now it's a mosh pit out here at ringside.
I have absolutely no idea who the momentum favors right now. Everybody's going back and forth.
Look out
here.
Wow!
Connected with nobody. I felt like that was going to take out everybody.
And again, this is just all for the opportunity to move on to the semifinals of this tournament. This is just the first step. Whoever ends up winning this matchup is going to have to win another 2 matchups between now and the Guardians of the Ring PLE to win the Guardians of the Ring tournament. Jasmine back in between the ropes. Oh, look out!
Gosh.
Air Jasmine from out of nowhere there via that camera shot.
Enemy cruise missile inbound.
Ooh,
Oh,
back
my
of the
goodness.
head.
I think the cheap seats heard that one.
God, we're gonna call that a donkey kick.
That was insane. Now Jasmine's welcome to the LED post. Desperation. It's reached a fever pitch in this match.
It's gotten to that point now if we end up having 2 individuals inside of the ring.
Ivy's in position again.
Whoop. He's going for a baseball slide, but instead this time, flying senton, and that time it did connect, this time with Evil Queen.
Sorry to interrupt your point there, but yeah, I mean, it's just non-stop.
I was just gonna say, if we end up having them get back inside the ring, it's probably just gonna take that one knockout blow. So much damage has been done on the outside. Another float over DDT by Jasmine.
Yeah, we're at that point now where one massive move is going to be all it takes. And it might not even be inside the ring. It might just be ringside and you land the move and then you throw somebody back into the ring and there's no one else to break up the pin.
I'll tell you who's loving seeing this matchup go on as long as it is. That's Elizabeth Swan, because she knows that means she's going to probably have a physical advantage over her opponent in the semifinals at Saturday Night at Springfield.
And not to say that it's going to happen, but somebody else who's loving this matchup right now, who might be loving this matchup, is Moana. She's sitting there backstage watching Elastigirl get brutalized. She might be running out here with that power-up briefcase soon.
That's a great point. Jasmine back into the ring once again. Oh, now Elastigirl bounced off the ring post.
Jasmine thought about another one of those running flying attacks, but saw that Poison Ivy was being brought back into the ring and everyone else is distracted. This could be it.
This might be the opportunity Jasmine needs. Poison Ivy. Oh, wait, hold on. Has her hoisted up. Ivy cutter.
Oh!
That could be it. Cover is in. Poison Ivy is going to advance. She and Elizabeth Swann will face once again.
Former champion taking on former champion. What a match this was, but you can definitely tell that Poison Ivy was spent in that victory. We're going to have to hope that she's at 100%, or she's going to have to hope that she's as close to 100% as she possibly can be. She's got a date with Elizabeth Swann on the other side of this bracket.
Made good on that Royal Rumble victory, that LCQ. As you said, two former Women's Universal Champions will face off for a chance to move on into the finals. Up next, it's our main event, Moana versus Susan Storm.
Raise your hands, let the fire ignite. Bound by fate, we'll win this fight. Through the storm, hear the echoes cling. Side by side, we're the guardians of the ring.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring, representing the Islanders from Honolulu, Hawaii,
There you see Moana holding that power-up briefcase inside, guaranteed contract for a title match. For any title, any place, anywhere, up to a year. A lot of power there for Moana. We talked about the power that Will Turner is wielding as well on the men's side. And for Moana, there's a lot of interesting scenarios that have been going on with the titles so far here the last couple of weeks on the women's side.
Absolutely, and I mean, we've talked about it before. Anytime, any place. I mean, this is not a title match for the Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship, but if Mulan wanted it, or if Moana, so I wanted it to be, it very well could be. Getting my M names confused.
and from Long Island, New York, the Women's Cruiserweight Champion, the Surfer, Susan Storm.
Now you can correct me on this, Jack. I'm trying to remember back when we ended up having that fatal four-way steel cage match to be the inaugural Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Champion. I want to say it was at Fallout, but I can't remember exactly. Okay. Since then, Susan Storm has yet to defend that Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship. You brought up the possibility here for Moana. Let's not forget, Moana was involved in that fatal four-way steel cage match. So if she wanted to cash in for a little redemption, she could.
I think she was, but I'm just going to double check my notes here. This was a while back. All the way back at Fallout. That was our first PLE that we had after Paramount.
Yes, it was. Susan Storm with a running knee there in the corner to Moana.
Okay, Moana probably must have been involved in the qualifier matchup for that match because, according to my notes, it was Susan Storm taking on Ellie, Shuri, and Kim Possible for that title. But I'm pretty sure Moana was in the picture at some point.
Your point probably was in one of those qualifying matchups, and you kind of look at Moana's style. She does kind of match up to the cruiserweight style, but that might be the title she's eyeing. She could also be eyeing the Women's Disney Tag Team Championships if she's able to find herself a partner. You've got, of course, the Female Fighting Championship that we saw successfully defended by Mulan earlier on here tonight. Women's Hardcore Championship as well, currently in the possession of Autumn Brooks. And then, of course, at the top of the mountain right now, Elastigirl with that Women's Universal Championship. But we do know we can eliminate the scenario now that Elastigirl is going to get to choose her opponent at Combat Evolved, provided she's still holding the title.
Look out.
Because Poison Ivy ended up winning her Fatal 4-Way just moments ago.
That's very true. So now we don't have to worry about that weird what-if scenario if she was able to win the tournament while being the Universal Champion.
Again, this non-title matchup, kind of similar to what we ended up seeing this past week, this past Saturday night, when we ended up seeing the men's Money in the Bank briefcase holder, William Turner, as Moana with a little turnabout's fair play, a flying senton of her own. End up seeing William Turner taking on the mid-card title holder Matt McIntyre, the United States champion. That ended up leading into some interesting storylines as the family has grown in numbers, adding Ed, and Eddie into their ranks. As a matter of fact, this coming Thursday night, we know that we're going to end up seeing the Black Pearl crew as, nice spinning backbreaker there by Moana. And we're going to see the Black Pearl crew in action against the Hurt Business.
Look out here.
Cover in here by Moana on Susan Storm, and cannot put away the Cruiserweight champion. But one of those two teams that I just mentioned, they're going to be facing off at Saturday night at Springfield against Ed and Eddie of the family for #1 contendership for the Men's Disney Tag Team titles.
So far, so good for the new version of the family. So we got a cover in here by Susan Storm. Kick out at 2. So I was saying, so far, so good for the new version of the family, because Ed and Eddie were able to get a pinfall victory over the Thrill Seekers. Big Superman punch.
Right on the button. Moana is down, cover in, and kicks out at 1. But to go back to that matchup I was referring to when we saw William Turner and Matt McIntyre, William Turner won that matchup, so there's a lot of question marks as Susan Storm with a spear to the outside. Moana, bad landing out to the floor. But, you know, there's a lot of question marks now of would that put William Turner in line for a shot at the United States Championship. To that end, looking at this matchup, if Moana is able to pick up a victory on Susan Storm, could that end up leading to Susan Storm's first title defense since winning the belt all the way back in December of last year?
It very well could, but I mean, again, if you're Moana, you don't necessarily even have to worry about #1 contendership spots right now while you've got that briefcase.
3 at a count of 4, now at a count of 5, halfway to the 10 count. Susan Storm realizing that puts Moana back inside of the ring. Whoa!
Oh, went for another Superman punch, didn't connect.
And I think Moana was going for a drop kick. Neither one connected, but that mule kick did. That time!
That one did.
The Superman punch connects. Is
This
that
could be
going to
it.
be enough for Susan Storm to put away Moana? Yes, it will.
Storm definitely proving that she's ready to go in the case that she does have a title defense coming soon.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Remember we
Oh.
said earlier tonight, Shigo had a guaranteed title match at Guardians of the Ring. Whoever she wanted to face, it looks like the choice has been made.
there you go. Statement has been made. She goes staring down the Women's Cruiserweight Champion.
So it looks like it's going to be official. The Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship going to be defended at Guardians of the Ring. Susan Storm against Shigo. We are in the home stretch, folks. We've got one more episode coming up this Thursday night before Saturday night at Springfield. We'll see you then.